Hey guys, Gabe Eltaeb here, Big Man Comics Live. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I think I slept about a half hour. But I'm feeling better. I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling energetic. Yeah, I'm going to be working on the Unstoppable Tyrus here. Some more inks there. This is page 48, I believe. We're almost to 50, guys. Almost to 50. And it was kind of stress stuff. I'll be honest with you, thinking about this and that, and most of our suffering is in our own mind and imagination. But what I have found in life, when I'm feeling down, when I'm not being grateful, and I'm getting all sorry for myself and stuff like that, what I found the best thing to do is try and help other people. Not try to help myself so much, but I reach out to other people that have maybe a similar problem, maybe a different problem, and I think that's a helpful thing to do. I don't know why that works. I don't know where I heard that, but I do think that's a useful thing, at least in my life. That's been very useful. I'm having a good day so far. I probably slept more than half an hour. I think I fell asleep like at 4 in the morning, and then I was woken back up at like 4:30. I think the dog was whining, and then I think I probably maybe slept like an hour or two this morning. I think I fell back asleep. I stayed in bed until like 10:30, and I never do that. I wake up much earlier usually, but I just said I got to lay there and rest. So I only just got up and had that cup of coffee, fixed that cup of coffee, and was sitting in the kitchen for just a few minutes. But the Mob Seed, hi Gabe. Hey Mob Seed, how you doing, bro? And yeah, it was a weird night. Didn't sleep good. I was talking to Grok all night, asking it questions on my phone. The Grok 3 AI is unreal. It's better than any AI that's out there. It really it feels as close as you can to a real person of any AI that's out there. It's truly astounding. It's really something else. It was a rough night. Didn't sleep, didn't feel great about things. And that just always comes down to gratitude and stuff like that. And you start getting in your own head. And one thing I think is I tell people, and I tell myself especially, is to be an observer of your feelings and not just a feeler of them. But what I want to focus on more that I have not done enough is on you guys. I want to know more about you guys. I want to know why do you like comic books? What do you like about them? Or what do you like about action adventure heroes? All that stuff. I do want to know more about it, because I do make this stuff. But when you make this stuff, you're alone in your studio, and it's a little bit of a bubble. And you think, oh, I like this, I like that, I'm going to do this. And but you don't ask people sometimes, and I forget that. And you guys have been there with me the entire way, the entire journey of me wanting to be an artist. And by you guys, I mean anyone that has supported my work, anyone that has bought a print from me at a convention, anyone that has reviewed a book I worked on and said it was great, anyone that has bought things from Marvel and DC, all the stuff I worked on. And of course, now especially, people who have purchased my work on my website, bigmancomics.com. That's you making that happen. This is an adventure we're taking together, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. But I want to know more about you guys. Who are my partners in crime here? Who are these people that are making this happen? Because it's all just, a little avatar and a screen name. And I'd like to know more about what you're interested in, what you see I'm doing that you like. You know what I mean? What do you want to see more of? And just your general thoughts on, because, to me, it's all philosophy and stuff. That's art is self-expression. So, of course, my art is going to be about my life and what I believe. And, but I want to know your reaction to it, what you guys think. Gabe, is it true that Evil Woman at Lucasfilm is gone? That's what the headlines are saying, but I don't want to be like Charlie Brown and Lucy with the football, right? How Lucy's always like, here, Charlie, kick this field goal. And then she just pulls the ball out again. I'll believe it when I see it. It's like Trump wanting to reveal all those JFK and Epstein files and all that stuff. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see arrests, right? And I'm not talking about Kathleen Kennedy. Now I'm talking about the Trump stuff. But to go back to the Kathleen Kennedy, I hope she leaves. I don't wish ill on her, like in her actual life or anything. But it seems to me, according to her choices and statements on that, she's been a force for, I don't want to say evil, but for bad. I would say evil, because hurting the culture is evil. Promoting those ideologies and denigrating the good ones is actually evil. So I would actually say it was evil. And was it evil due to, intention, or was it evil due to recklessness? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. So I hope she's gone. And I hope she has a nice little retirement and just stays out of it and leaves it alone. And I hope they don't bring in someone 1,000 times worse. That's always that thing, the devil you know, right? Versus the one you don't. So that'll be interesting to see, you know. It'll be very interesting to see who they replace her with. Because you could imagine the hierarchy there is woke, right? What are the odds they're going to replace her with a white guy, right? You know what I mean? A credentialed white guy who has a great skill and he's not woke. What are the odds of that happening, right? It's not zero, but as they say in mathematics, it is a number approaching zero. The mob seat, the damage to Star Wars that Kathleen has done is unfixable at this point. Yes, I am the biggest Star Wars fan on earth. Now, I know there are many of you that are just as big a fan as me. So in that regard, I am the biggest, but I'm also not the biggest because for purposes of my example, there's a limit to how much you can be a Star Wars fan. Let's just make it 100. I was born in 1978. Star Wars was the first thing that captured my imagination. It's why I'm standing before you today doing this, because it was the first thing I'd like to draw. I would draw Star Wars space battles in the back of my grandparents' restaurant. I wanted to be a fighter pilot when I was a little kid because I love the X-Wings and the TIE fighters. And now I'm, 46 and I have money. I am the demographic for Star Wars. I am the people they need to market to because I have the nostalgia and I have the money to spend on it. Do you know how much money I spend on Star Wars? Zero, zilch, nada, nothing. Because I'm disgusted by what I can feel deeply that Hollywood really needs to take into account is that they personally, the actors, the writers, the bosses, the editors, don't like me personally. Now, do they even know me? I mean, I worked on Star Wars, so some of them know me. I worked on the comic book and all that, but you know what I mean. Sorry, let me clear my throat. I had a bunch of coffee before I came on here. It doesn't matter if it's true if they don't like me or not on a personal level. It feels that way when they denigrate patriotism and Christianity and heterosexual people and families and everything that I think is good and important. When they denigrate that, I take it as a personal insult. I'm not giving money to people who personally insult me and my culture. Sorry, that's not happening. So, and then, then the craft of the story is just not good. So, yeah, they ruined it for themselves because, again, I'm the demo that they need. These guys that are men, first of all, it's men. Women like Star Wars, but they don't like it the way men do traditionally, right? Because growing up, if you were there in the 80s, you know that Star Wars was nerdy and niche and stuff like that. And it was, even though it was a mainstream blockbuster, it wasn't, sci-fi has always had that taint on it, right? That it's kind of nerdy and stuff. And you wouldn't be at school talking about how much you love Star Wars. You just wouldn't do something like that. So, not at elementary school or anything like that. You'd get called a baby or a weirdo or whatever. So, the people that were there, children, they were children in the 80s loving this stuff. They got the deep pockets for it now, and Disney told them to F off. Told them everything they do, think, and say is wrong, racist, bigoted, homophobic, and that their country and their family and their religion, everything is stupid. So the wallets are snapped shut. And you see it. Their stuff fails now. Nobody wants to watch it. And that's a huge mistake. You guys, I was saying at the top of the show before a lot of people came in, hit the like and share. Make sure we get some more people in here. That you're the lifeblood of Big Man Comics. You've been with me, whether you know it or not, you've been with me since I was a little boy and wanting to do this. When you walk up to me and you buy something, when you log on to, at a convention, when you log on to Big Man Comics and you buy my books and all that, you are part of this journey. I'm not doing this alone. We're a team. I want to know about you guys. I want to make you happy and thrill you and give you amazing stories and not sit there and tell you, hey, because you're not a communist, I hate you and I want your country and culture destroyed. Why would I tell you that? First of all, I don't believe it. But even if I did really not like your belief, what does that have to do with making you a comic book? It's not I look at it again. My family had a restaurant. My grandparents had a restaurant forever, for like almost half century. And they're trying to sell people tacos, man. They're not trying to tell people you voted for Nixon, you're a piece of shit, or you voted for, a Democrat or whatever. It's like, how do you like your tacos? No tomato? Extra tomato? You want some, you want extra spicy? Like that. That's what I want to give you guys here. I want to interact with you guys more. Tell me ways we could interact more. Could we be pen pals? Just kidding. But honestly, I want to know, what do you want? Have it your way, like the horrible restaurant chain Burger King says. Only I'm not horrible. My stuff is amazing, but I will steal that slogan from them. Have it your way, right? Is that Burger King? Is that McDonald's? I think McDonald's was "Have you had your break today" in the 90s, and Pizza Hut was making it great and blah blah blah. And nobody does consumerism better than Americans, by the way. But I want to do that for you guys. I want to hear what you want. I want to be whatever Disney Star Wars is doing. I want to do the opposite. I don't ever want you guys to feel attacked, belittled, like you're just like, give me the money, racist. Like that's how they treat us, right? Give me the money, racist, chud. And I would never treat you guys that way. Because again, I grew up watching my grandparents run this successful restaurant, and it was at the tail end by the time I was a kid in the 80s. They shut it down in the early 90s because my mom, aunt, and uncle, their children didn't want to carry it on. Is anything more symbolic of the boomers and the World War II generation, of the boomer children not carrying on and sustaining the great legacy that the World War II generation established, right? My mom, aunt, and uncle not carrying on a super successful restaurant because they wanted to go do their own thing is anything more emblematic of boomers. I'm not trying to be mean to my mom. I want to be respectful, but I find that not irony, but I do find that quite poignant, But yeah, Disney's cooked, man, on that stuff. I don't know. And with all this Doge stuff with Elon rooting out all this free money that wokesters get, we'll see. Does Kathleen Kennedy retiring, does that have something to do with all the US aid and all that? Does that have something to do with that? Was Disney and all that getting free money to be woke? Because I think so. Because we do know about the ESG coming from the investments and all that BlackRock Vanguard. And we do know that USAID did give money to news orgs. And, I think this is a theory. This is not making an accusation that I know is true or not. This is just a theory. Would it be so hard for USAID to give, $100 million to a charity organization, and then that charity organization that claims to be XYZ turn around and give it to woke things like Disney and Warner Brothers and all that? Would that be so unthinkable? Because they already proved things like that, not that specifically, things I got to be careful here legally. Things just like that did happen with the USAID. So was Warner's and all them getting money to make woke stuff to insult you and try and destroy your culture? It's entirely possible. It's not zero, I'll tell you that. Nate Webb, I totally agree that they would rather keep their own success to themselves rather than allow the next generation to see it succeed even further. I totally hear you. LO. Nate Webb, the amazing co-creator of Empyrean Earth Illuminated. Let's get into that real quick. Pages are coming along gorgeous. The book is finished being illustrated, and then we are going to finish coloring it any day now. My colorist, I was talking to him last night. He's having freaking computer problems. Every stroke he's doing in Photoshop is like having a lag on it, and so it was terrible. He was telling me about it, and I sympathized with him. I told him, "Don't worry, we're okay. We have a little more time. We want to put it on a crowdfund for the spring." Let me move my iPad off the screen. So here's a page of Empyrean. Look, it's just beautiful work. Hello, Nate in the chat. Guys, hit the like and hit the share. Yeah, Empyrean is, speaking of Star Wars, they ruined Star Wars, Disney, and all the woke feminist weirdos. And Nate, the Webbs, we fixed it. Yeah, that's what we did. That's what we do. We fixed it. Here it is. Check this out. We fixed it. This is just an amazing story of action and adventure and sci-fi, first of all, interplanetary travel and discovery, but also authoritarian governments and a rebellion, and a husband and wife family team going up against the most powerful dictator in Solus. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of sentimentality. It's got a lot of lasers and robots and spacecraft. It's amazing. It's amazing work, and I couldn't be more proud of it. And I want to get this thing out to you. I want to get it out now. Working on, I won't say details because I don't like to say anything until the ink is dry. Working on marketing and distribution deals that are going to blow your mind. You're going to love that. And we want to take this thing all the way. Starts off with this graphic novel. I pray to God for great success with it, financially, critically, commercially, all of it. And we want to do sequels for sure. We love it. And the guy that illustrated this, I was telling him, man, I'm sad that I'm going to have to find a different guy to draw the second volume. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I love Empyrean. I definitely want to draw the second one. So he's going to draw Dean Cain Volume 2 after this, the Tyrus book that I'm working on with him is over. And then he's going to do Empyrean after that. So yeah, we're gonna dazzle you guys. We're going to dazzle you. But yeah, Nate and his family came to me with this amazing concept that I just fell in love with immediately. We're going to make a small comic. And I looked over the pitch he gave me. I said, this isn't It's in enough. It's too short. It was like 30 pages. I said, no. You have an epic here. You have an actual epic. So I said, let me write it based on your premise here. And I wrote a 120-page action adventure story that blows anything Disney Star Wars doing right out of the water. Right out of the water. So yeah, we hit the ground running. It's these are my colors and Akion's illustrations. Flying through an ice comet field, husband and wife team. I love that. You never see that anymore. You never see the families anymore. She's yelling at him. He's flirting back with her and playing it off. And it's great. It's really awesome. We have like a deadly cyborg assassin here named Skaith. I'm very proud of that name. I feel like that's a badass, bad guy name. He's the one in black. If you can't tell who the badass robot assassin is between these three bad guys, let's give it a think for a minute there, But Feral Lion says, I see Mecha, must click. Yeah, don't worry. You'll be lining up to order this thing and you're going to love it. And I want to know more what you guys love about Star Wars. Why do you love this, what I'm showing you? What do you love about sci-fi? I know what I love about it. I am the most curious human being alive. I love science. Who doesn't? Well, some people don't. But I just love the concepts of science and technology and all that. But I also love a David and Goliath, the small guy overcoming the big evil guy who seems to have all the odds in his favor. I love that. So those are the main things I love about sci-fi. Getting deeply into the minutia of how the teleporter works in Star Trek and arguing with people on a message board about it is not my cup of tea. I always take the fantasy, and it is fantasy. They say it's science fiction or fantasy or sci-fi fantasy. It's all fantasy because it's fiction. It's science fiction. I take it at face value. Whatever they tell me about the science in a sci-fi show, I'll just yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's cool. Like they have what? It does what? It transports what? It's time travel this? Sure. Whatever. To me, that's just let's get into it. Let's just believe it and move on. But yeah, it's a inhospitable world where the loving dictator, you can't live anywhere on this planet almost. The whole thing is a death trap. But he's got his beautiful city where he benevolently takes care of everyone. But is it all a lie? Is he really covering up the lost paradise that Dr. Elvera, as she found? And here's a rebel outpost in the outskirts, But yeah, it's awesome. We had a lot of fun coming up with this. I love the premise that they gave me. I was just ignited with imagination and wrote this script. And I got it back to them, and they just adored what I came up with. So it was real synergy. And then to unleash Akion, master animator and illustrator, over 30 years in this business, the highest levels. He animated, Tarzan, Treasure Planet, The Emperor's New Groove. This dude, the best comic book artists are animators. They're way better than guys that just draw comics and always have. The best comic book artists are always going to be animators because they understand capturing the iconic movement and moment better than anyone because that's what animation is all about. So he brings his animation skills, his environment and character design from, years at the top level animation studios and blows me away. Because I gave him a little bit of design for these characters, but I ended up paying him to okay, do the concept art for this stuff. But we throw in a little bit of Die Hard, right? Crawling through the air ducts to go do a secret mission and stealing stuff from the bad guys, the good guys, right in the lion's den, walking and talking with the evil supreme leader. That the people are convinced it's not such a bad guy. You're gonna love this. Everything I love, everything you love about sci-fi is thrown into this. Look at that gorgeous image there. Look at that. I won't explain what any of that is because why would I? I gotta leave something for you guys to read. Don't worry. What you've seen is not going to spoil it for you because you'd need all the dialogue to know what the hell's going on here. But yeah, Empyrean Earth Illuminated will be crowdfunding this spring. That's my goal. It is 95, 97% done. I got to do the lettering still, but the lettering for this will probably take me about a week and a half. So Feral Lion says space opera and environments, heroes versus villains. Also see normal people living in worlds next to superpowered beings is what Feral Lion likes about sci-fi. That's what my question I asked about 2 minutes ago. What do you guys love about sci-fi? So yeah, to me, it was the action and adventure. Student OG, hail chat, hail Student OG. Yeah, we were just looking at some pages from Empyrean Earth Illuminated. The colors keep sending me some new stuff every day. He's nearly done. He is nearly done, and he is just killing it. I colored about a third of the book up to page 40, and then I started looking at my calendar. I'm like, hey, this ain't going to work out to finish Tyrus and finish this and finish Dean Cain and all that in a timely fashion. So I found a guy that was a 30-year veteran in mainstream art, Hollywood entertainment artwork, and he's just a monster coloring this stuff. And he's a dream to work with, super nice guy, brings his own flair to it. I let him loose. I thought when you work for me, I always let artists loose, and that's why I only hire guys that have decades of experience. It's not rookie training camp with me. I really not going to hire young people that have to learn on the job. Just not going to do that. That doesn't really work for me. So back to the Unstoppable Tyrus. Sometimes when I look at these pages that I'm inking and I see what has been drawn, I think to myself, who the hell wrote this? There's so many details, so many characters, so many things on it. And then I remember I the hell wrote this. And now it's my problem. But I couldn't be happier with it. It's coming out gorgeous. You want to see yesterday's page? I'll show you yesterday's page. Here is the page I did yesterday. I think I showed some of this on the air. So, yeah, here's I won't explain what's going on here. It's a superhero book, but there's some ancient lore from thousands of years ago. They're not called mutants in my world. They're called mana beasts. I'm very proud of that name. That's very clever, mana beasts. And we're showing some historical. Look at that. Look how great this looks. I inked this stuff up last night. Look at this giant throwing guys through the frozen forest. You're going to find out what all of this is about in the Unstoppable Tyrus. I should have this one done if my calculations are correct. I should have this done by the end of May, the illustration for this. And I'm going to have the same guy that's coloring Empyrean color this book. So I can move on to, I'm illustrating another one after that. So we're going to keep moving and keep moving. So where are the space hamsters on anti-gravity motorbikes? They got left on the cutting room floor. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is all being drawn right here on this iPad that you see before you. I'm currently manipulating that. And that was page 47. So we're 47 out of 120 done. I like the 120. Do you guys like that for a graphic novel? You guys let me know. Rippaverse crossover next year. I'm on very good terms with Eric, Brandon, and Alex, and Caro, and the Rippaverse crew. Did a lot of great work for them. As you know, I had to step away because of what you currently see me doing. It was like two trains coming down the track, and I was looking at the schedule, and I'm like, I can't stick around to work on this. And unfortunately, the ISOM 3 schedule got so behind because there were a lot of illustration corrections, and I was in the process of recoloring the book and recoloring a lot of the book, and I just had to have a man-to-man talk with Eric and just say, hey, dude, I'm really sorry. I can't do this anymore. I've delayed my book so much, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go on mine, and I'm, writing them all. I'm illustrating a couple of them, inking also, and illustrating. I'll be illustrating this military thriller that I wrote, and there just wasn't time anymore. So they got Sebastian Chang, who's fantastic, totally different style from me. They got him to come in there. So that's good for them. I felt bad about it, but to Eric's credit, he was totally professional about it, and he understood it was what it was. It was nothing personal. I wasn't trying to be a jerk or anything like that. Sometimes schedules don't work out. Things take so long to make. That's just how it is, man. So Rippaverse, there's more with Rippaverse and Big Man Comics than you understand. Spider Goat, my uncle had the original trilogy on VHS when I was a kid in the 90s. I was hooked like you, Jericho Neurotic, and others always said. Spider Ghost, it's a boys brand. Always like exploring military hardware in any story. Yeah, there were these comics in the 90s. It was the Punisher Armory, and they didn't have stories in them. It was literally, got to stop saying literally, man. Teenage girls got us all using that adjective way too much. It was a comic of just 22 pages of the Punisher's gear and beautiful illustrations of all his technical gear, his bombs, his guns, his armor, ballistic gel, his target practice. And it just explained how it all worked. It was such a nerdy thing, just going deep into how armor and weapons and all that work. And I loved it. My brother bought those, and I would read them over and over because I loved all the stats and all the tech and all that. So always liked exploring the military hardware in any story. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of research on for Tripoli. It's a military thriller. If you like No Country for Old Men, and if you like Black Hawk Down, and if you like Apocalypto, you're gonna love this. You're gonna just love it if you love action and adventure. But it always has my themes of men being strong and sacrificing, perhaps even their own life, to do the right thing for those around them. And it's based on the current situation there of the last 10, 15 years of the Obama State Department destroying the Libyan government and creating absolute violent chaos there. Libya to this day is a hellhole because of what was done by those people. And I have a great story, and I'm doing actual research. I got a hold of a book called Zero Footprint. He's a former British SBS, the Special Boat Service, is a complimentary thing to like the SAS. It's kind of like their Navy SEALs, I guess. He's former British SBS, and he's anonymous. He used a pen name, and he wrote about his time as a mercenary after 9/11. And he talks about being in Afghanistan, and he talks about being in Libya. So I'm listening to that book and taking a lot of notes on the lingo and the customs and how it all works and how they fight, how they get paid, how they work with the CIA and other different government agencies. So I'm making sure I get the technical stuff right, and it's not going to be overly dry and technical. But I don't want to make errors in my story. They're like, well, they would never do that because blah 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 when they do. So it's about military contractors and all that, and I'm doing my research. But I've already written the script once. I just wrote it out once. Now I'm doing more research, and I'll go back and refine it. And I have some big decisions to make on the writing. But that one, I would like to finish illustrating that myself by the end of the year. We will see. Currently, this is a woman running from a vampire bat in I would say revolutionary France or something like that. Here's a feline man fighting a snake man, and you'll see what all this is. You're gonna love the Ensemble Tyrus, dude. It's so cool. Like, you guys tell me what you love about superhero comics. Tell me. Because I bet you that's what I'm doing here. Because I love superhero comics. I think they're awesome. So yeah, that's what we're all about here at Big Man Comics. We're just all about having a good time, letting you have a good time, and we'll inspire you and give you a lesson. But it's never going to feel like it. There's that left-wing preachiness of you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a blah blah blah. If you don't agree, I don't want to tell people you're a sinner. That doesn't convert anyone. You know what converts people? What converts people is, have you thought of this? Look how good this is. Instead of telling someone, here's how bad you are, that just turns people off to get defensive. You could say to people, hey, look at this. Have you thought of this? I can't believe I'm wearing my Padres shirt and hat. I feel like I work there. I didn't realize. I just saw a picture of myself on the screen. I have a ton of hats next to me, and I just threw one on, but I happen to be wearing this shirt this morning. That's hilarious. I look at this outfit is like something of someone working at the hot dog stand at the Padres baseball stadium, which, by the way, best baseball stadium in the country. If you've never been to the Gas Lamp area in downtown San Diego, is America's finest city, by the way. It truly is paradise here. It's nicer than Hawaii, which I've been to multiple times. Used to live in Hawaii for a minute when I was a little kid. People always say, Hawaii, well, you want the beaches? Nah, San Diego's got it beat. Way better weather. Hawaii has stunning beauty, horrific weather. Hawaii has some of the worst weather I've ever been in. If you like humidity, you're going to love Hawaii. If you like traffic jams and overpriced tourist stuff, you're going to love Hawaii. Let's see. Apparently, the FBI is deleting Epstein JFK stuff. Apparently, a whistleblower is saying, we'll see. I read that too. My whole heuristic with Twitter is we'll see. Like I read, the lady from Georgia with the gap in her teeth. What the hell's her name? Stacey Abrams, like embezzling $2 billion allegedly. And my wife was like, did you hear that? I'm like, I heard it. And I hope she gets busted if it's true, but I don't know if it's true. So we'll see. I know that in a cold information war like this, a very useful thing for the bad guys to do would be to plant red herrings, right? And eventually what you could do is discredit the good stuff. They're going to see, you can't trust any of this. They said this, they said that. So I know that's definitely an information war tactic, and that's what we're in. We're in an information war for sure. So, Gabe, have you read Keith Giffen's Omega Men sci-fi series from the 80s? No, but I did when my wife was in labor having our first child. I stopped by the comic book store with her, and the comic book store owner was like, get out of here, because she's like, oh yeah, she's in labor. But it was like, my wife had relatively very gentle, peaceful, easy pregnancy and deliveries relative to some of what you've heard. So we just kind of went around that day. Her water broke in the morning. We went around. We went to a Chinese buffet, stopped by the comic store so I could get some reading for the hospital. And he handed me a stack of like 20-something issues of Legion of Superheroes by Giffen and DeMatteis. And they were great. It was great stuff. This was, my daughter's going to be 28 next month. So this was, 3 decades ago almost. So, but no, I haven't read Omega Man. I've heard of it. That's where Lobo comes from. I know Giffen's Lobo is supposed to be hilarious. They don't make enough of it that's hilarious. But if they would do more of it in that 90s paramilitary Christmas special vein, that would be funny. It's not appropriate for children at all. But I did get a hold of it when I was 13 at my friend Sean's house, where the Easter Bunny hires Lobo to assassinate Santa because he's jealous of all the fame that Santa has that the Easter Bunny doesn't. And it's over the top. It was Deadpool before Deadpool. Now, I don't like Deadpool because Deadpool takes it too far with like literal X-rated joke. Literal. There's that word again from the young women. I got to stop saying literal. Deadpool takes it too far with X-rated jokes. So I do not condone Deadpool. But, edgy humor is okay. I don't like outright filth. That's my problem with Deadpool, because it is just like basically pornographic. And I'm not okay with that, you know. So Sunoji, good approach. It's all hearsay until something happens. Yeah, just tell yourself maybe. It's don't believe it, don't disbelieve it. Just say, okay, that's something to look into. Everything you see on Twitter, money news, health news, warfare. It is a public forum where anyone can post anything and say anything. So you just take it under advisement of, okay, that's interesting. But you also tell yourself, hey, I want to believe this about Stacey Abrams because I don't like her. So I know that I'm biased. And as long as you know you have a bias, it's good, right? You can just check your own bias and be like, well, I know that I'm biased about this. So, but yeah, just watch out on Twitter and all that. So, because like yesterday, they're making a 10% of teapot of Dan Crenshaw said he would kill Tucker Carlson. And here it is on a hot mic. And I agree with Scott Adams' take. Like, people say things when they don't think they're being recorded to intentionally be edgy and outrageous. You do it. I do it. Everyone does it. And you don't mean it. Do you really think Dan Crenshaw, the eye patch guy from Texas, do you really think he would murder Tucker Carlson if he met him somewhere? Do you really think that? Does he have a history of murdering people? So I do think, like, the news does run on an outrage cycle. That's one thing hard about doing YouTube that I fucking hate is, I want to do daily videos about pop culture and all this. And, my assistant will say, well, we got this and we got that. And it's always outrage bait. And I get that you need to call out bad stuff, and I've done it, but I'm like, yesterday we were looking at topics, and it's like, no. And the reason I decided not to do a video last night to post this morning, because I said I don't truly care about that, and I'm not just going to do outrage to get clicks. Like, if I care about something in Disney Star Wars, like I actually care, then I'll do it. But who's calling me? George the Giant Slayer's called me again during my show. He called me yesterday. I'm going to take the call and tell him I'm on the air. Hold on a second. Eye Patch McCain, Mr. Reese says, hilarious. Hello? Hey, George. I'm on the air live on YouTube like I do every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 11 to noon. I can talk later. The video was great, and I did post it and tag my buddies in it because they're making the same argument as you. But I can talk after the show. Will do. Later on. Bye. All right. That's the great George the Giant Slayer. I like taking a call in the air because it's absurd and it's quote unquote unprofessional. So I think it's funny, and it embarrasses the person on the phone just a little bit, just the way you razz your friends, right? Dan Crenshaw has bad depth perception. He'd be a poor shot. Ooh, that's not. Damn it, Mr. Spielberg, please stop calling me. Right. I learned today that Dan Crenshaw is 5'7", and someone said that explains a lot of this. And it's a very, very, very tall person. That made me laugh. No offense to you shorties in the audience. I don't have a problem with short people. I do tease people. It's okay to tease people. But if you're going to be short, don't lean into the Napoleon complex personality. That would be my advice. Again, I have no experience as a short person. I've been tall since the minute I was born. I was the size of an adult in 5th grade. I was 5'10", 160. Maybe 180 in 5th grade. I was the size of a full-grown, bigger than an adult, right? Isn't the average adult man like 5'8" or something like that? I was bigger than an adult man when I was 10. Bigger than probably like 8 or 9. I was probably bigger. And yeah, so I don't know what it's like to be short, and I never will. But if you are short, don't do things that make people call you a weird little Napoleon insecure guy. Don't do that. That would be my advice as a person blessed with the luxury of being quite tall. So let's see. Men like him come in short supply. But I like it. I like where your head is at. But yeah, he turned out to be apparently a humongous, can we just say an asshole, fraud, warmonger? There's a reason people call him Eye Patch McCain, right? So yeah, he just seems like the same kind of guy. It's amazing to me that the Republican Party has just been that horrible controlled opposition for so long. I never liked the Republicans. I always hated them and rallied against them in college because I knew who they were. And I was proven right. Now, the Democrats were no better, and I've completely disassociated anything with them. But I was always against Bush and all those Romney and all that. And it bore out. And a lot of my Republican friends who argue with me about them owe me an apology. Those guys were what I thought they were. Just warmongers. They are, because it makes them money, and their boys don't go and get blown up and die. Remember, the verse in the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. A lot of people are semi-illiterate, and they say money is the root of all evil. It's like, that's not what it said. Money's very good and very useful as a tool, and you can do a lot of amazing good with money. It said the love of money is the root of all evil. And if you put your critical thinking hat on, that would tell you valuing money over what is right is the root of all evil. Then all of this US aid, all of this warmongering forever and letting a million young Ukrainian and Russian men die to sell more tanks and bombs, it all makes sense. They love that money. And the death is just a number on a stat sheet, right? He's not a real person. Wasn't your son, wasn't your father, wasn't your nephew, right? It was just, some peasant, They were just cattle anyway, That's how dehumanizing these people are. And it was endemic to the neocons, which many of which were Republicans. Those Bush Republicans are some of the worst people on earth, They really are. And there's a reason Bush and them hate Trump, because he's like putting a stop to the grift, right? The grift of murdering your men and some women in warfare for profit for them. That's horrible. And there was Republicans largely behind that in the last 20 years. You can't deny that. The Democrats weren't much better, but at least they feigned resistance to war while still voting for it and supporting it. But vocally, they gave lip service that they were against it. But you see it for what it is now. It's a put on. It's the Democrats and Republicans traditionally before Trump, behind closed doors, would say, hey, listen, here's this divisive issue. I'm going to take side A, you take side B. We're going to go on the news and argue in public. They're going to vote for you. These ones are going to vote for me, and we're both going to get our way, and we're both going to get our war and our money and all that. I was 14 when I figured that out. I remember I didn't know a lot about politics, and Newt Gingrich had captured the House of Representatives from Bill Clinton at the midterms, like 94 or whatever. And there was this amazing cover to Newsweek magazine. I was captivated by the illustrations, what made me pick up the magazine. It said, How the Gingrich Stole Christmas. And it was Newt Gingrich anthropomorphized into the Grinch, because his name, Gingrich. So I picked up the magazine and read about it. And it just talked about politics. And I looked into politics a little bit, and I immediately recognized a pattern, and I realized it was a fake pattern. I said to myself, because what the pattern I saw was Newt Gingrich disagrees with Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. There's something about Hillary Care and Newt Gingrich and all this stuff. And immediately, like within minutes of reading this, I was like a mirror image, they disagree about every topic. And as a 14-year-old, I said, that's not possible. Like, it's possible, but it's not probable. Like the odds of that being true, that two parties mirror image disagree on every issue, that doesn't make any sense. How could that be? So I remember talking to my friend Brian. I was talking about, like, hey, have you looked into it? Have you seen? And he didn't care about politics either. We're 14. And I remember the quote I said to him. I said, dude, they're the same guys. So I was right about the Union Party 32 years ago. When I was 14, I figured it out when I was 32 years ago. So you're welcome. I saw that shit from, I read, just a little bit about it when I saw that Newsweek magazine. And I was like, wait a minute, you can't disagree like a mirror image. How would that even be possible? People in different parties, they would still agree on some things. So immediately the jig was up in my mind. So Fox News began in 1997, so everything you've ever read in the mainstream media were all lies. Politics is like WWE, the mob seat says. The first comment was Hugh can draw. I've heard someone say something that made me laugh so hard. It was politics is Hollywood for ugly people. That made me laugh hard. Because all comedy has a ring of truth to it, And I do think that's true in a way that, a lot of these people are pretty fugly. These politicians, pretty weird looking. You got your Fetterman, right? Fire bad. You got. I saw one. She was giving. It's funny how they all come out squealing and screeching about U.S. aid, right? They get their lectern, their podium. They go out on the sidewalk in front of one of the, Washington D.C. buildings. These Democrats, and they're screaming out, "Elon Musk is stealing from you," and this and that and the other. You've never seen such passion and fire and energy from these politicians about anything that mattered for you, for your family, for your children, for your future, for your parents, for your country, for your safety. They've never gone out there and done these rallies for that. But as soon as their slush fund is turned off, where they can just grift all this money and launder it back to themselves through campaign donations or fake ass charity, whatever they start, as soon as that faucet is turned off, all of a sudden they're outside screaming. All of a sudden, it's a threat to democracy to audit the books. That every single one of us works so fucking hard to pay these taxes. All of you out there, you're working your ass off at whatever job you do, sitting there cutting the government like basically 50% of your check by the time you pay late state and local taxes and fees. All that, you're paying like half of your effing check And they're like, nah, but you can't know what we're doing with it because that violates democracy. Get the fuck out of here. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There was one, it was a guy exposed this morning. He gave some speech about Elon and all them and Doge. Then it turns out his wife is the head of something that USAID was giving, tens of millions of dollars to. And, 2 weeks ago, he's saying, they shouldn't be looking into this. They're violating privacy and democracy. Democracy manifest. I was enjoying a meal, succulent Chinese meal. But yeah, there's that old country saying, a hit dog hollers, right? And, when you're taking flack, you're over the target. And that's what's going on here. They start screaming, the Bible says, the evil flee when no one pursueth, right? Think about that for a minute and look at some of their reactions, right? So, yeah, it's interesting to see. But again, it's like I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when the hammer of justice comes down. I'll believe it when you see corrupt politicians in handcuffs being walked out of offices and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're working on a bat here. Having a lot of fun with this stuff, guys. We got a lot of great stuff coming for you. I thank you all. You are part of this. You are Big Man Comics. I mean, legally, I own it. But no, you're part of the journey. You make it happen. You make it so I get to do this for a living. I'm going to go to the hardware store in just a minute here. The light switch in my kitchen was making a buzzing sound, and one of the lights I turned on started flickering. So I used Grok, the AI, and I said, hey, what's going on with this light switch? And it said, when you flick it, the connections there, they're probably worn thin. So now electricity is arcing over the gap because the contacts aren't touching. Grok has helped me fix things in my car. Grok is brilliant, dude. The new Grok that came out like this week, Grok 3, it's the greatest AI that is better than ChatGPT. It's better than anything. And, in the art world, there's a lot of pushback against AI. And I get that for like stealing illustration, whatever. I totally understand that. But if you don't get on the AI train and use it to further your business in appropriate ways, you will be left behind. You know what you're going to be like if you do that? You're going to be like a farmer who sees the Ford Model T, like the truck. You're like, no, I'm sticking with my horse and buggy. You're going to get left behind. You're going to go out of business if you do that. You better understand that whether you like AI or not, it's here, and no one fucking asked you if you want to use it. It's the new reality, and you better figure that out. This is how it works now. So, and I'm all for inappropriate use. They will have to find a way to protect like artists and stuff from, because you'll be like, oh, make me a poster in Norman Rockwell's painting style. Like, that seems dubious to me. That seems like, yeah, they're stealing Norman Rockwell's art somehow. And, there's got to be something about that. But yeah, if you're not ready to use AI, you're going to get blown away because you're not going to be able to compete, Hugh can draw. Dems outrage about Doge should not be allowed to look at IRS database is BS. There are 500 employees currently working remotely, have full access to it. That's how Rachel Maddow got Trump's tax files. Every industrial age technological shift is the same. Fairline, you're 100% right, and Hugh can draw. You're 100% right about that. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. Trump is going to win now. The woke, the left, the global communists, they were caught flat-footed. They become fat and lazy in their reign of terror for the last 70 years. And they thought they'd never be defeated. They thought this was impenetrable, what they had. And they're shocked at what's happening. They can't believe it. And like I said, a hit dog hollers. When you see Bernie Sanders, we gotta tax the millionaires. You notice how that changed to billionaires once it was confirmed that he himself was a millionaire? When you see him and Pocahontas out there screaming at RFK about swear that you will never sue the pharmaceutical companies. And then you find out how much they got from pharmaceutical companies. It's like, yeah, that's who they work for, dude. They don't work for you. They hate you. You're a fucking peasant to them. And I love that little bullshit Bernie Sanders put out. I have never taken money from pharmaceutical company CEOs. You like that little word game there? Yeah, you might as well say I didn't take it from the janitor. Well, I didn't take it from the parking lot attendant. You took it from him. You didn't have to take it from that guy specifically. You took the fucking money. There's records of it, dude. And they'll just, piss in your face like that and tell you it's raining. And people slurp it up. I don't know why anyone believes anything they see on the news anywhere. As I was telling Student of God earlier, even Twitter, even though Twitter is free speech, there are bad actors that are going to make up lies to try and discredit the truth. Everything you see now, go, okay, I'll look into it. Don't believe anything you hear now. Anything. Your heuristic in your mind has to be, I believe nothing. I don't not believe it. I don't believe it. I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. Let's look into it. further and further and more sources, because there are going to be bad actors that want to discredit the truth by sowing lies everywhere. It's disinformation, right? It's a red herring. So be very careful, because it's so easy to just jump on board what we want to believe. That's known as confirmation bias. Like, yes, I want to believe this bad guy did this. I want to believe I know who's on the Epstein list. And as soon as you hear it, you'll believe it because you hate such and such actor or politician. You'll believe it. Well, is it true or not? Our confirmation bias will always lead us to believe what we want to believe. So just something to keep in mind in the coming days and weeks. But don't watch what people say ever. Watch what people do. Don't watch what they say. Watch what they do. That's another good heuristic. So let's see. Okay, guys, it is 11:54. I'll hang out for a few more minutes. We'll work on this other ear. Oh, cancel. But if you have, I want to know more from you guys. I do a lot of talking, sure, but I want to know who you guys are, what you love, why are you excited about anything for Big Man Comics, what looks most interesting to you, why do you like crowdfunding comics, and what do you love about this entertainment? Why does it mean so much to you? I know what it means to me. I know the experiences I have, and I'm sure some of yours are similar, but they're not going to be the same. But I want to know more about you guys. So in the coming days and weeks and months, and I'll keep doing these live streams because I do want to know you guys. I think one thing about social media that's obvious is that it's a personal relationship, as personal as one can get over the internet. You know what I mean? Like, you're not here at my house eating food with me, but it is what do they call it? A parasocial relationship, But we can go, semi deep. Some things are not for online, some things are just for offline. But yeah, I do want to know what this means to you, why it means anything to you. Because it is an amazing blessing to me. Like, why would anyone crowdfund a comic for me? Like, why would that happen? That's amazing. And I want to believe, that people are good and trustworthy and going to act in good faith and just be honest and stuff like that. I do want to believe things like that, So the Mopsy says, I think AI is going to wipe out graphic artists as well as commercial models. Miss Reese says, I'm excited for Empyrean. Well, Empyrean is excited for you. Let me just say that. But yeah, I think that AI is going to wipe out graphic art. Like, it's like, if you want like little logos and menus and all that, like, it can already do it, and it can already do a damn good job. And that's a shame, man. And I think with social media, that's why it's so important to create a personality for yourself. Be on here like I am, talking to the audience, and there's no AI me. No AI can be a better me than me. That's not possible, because no human can be better than me at being me. I'm the best me there is in the universe because I'm me. I literally have the inside track on being me. So if I'm me and I get you guys to see the value in that, which you're going to see, you already do see value, you wouldn't be here. That's some value that I can offer you, something that you would like and like to enjoy, is to get to know each other better. But I do want to know more about you guys, because as a business, I want to take feedback. I want, okay, you did this good, you did this wrong. We want more of this, we want less of that. Customer's always right. It's like Burger King, have it your way, have it your way. Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce, special orders don't upset us, right? That was the old slogan. And I want people to have what they want, because I like making art for a living. And to make art for a living, you got to treat the customers, the backers, the supporters, you got to treat them right. And you should. How amazing is it that I have a dream of being an artist from the time I'm a little boy, and you people make it come true? Think about that you make it come true by financially backing all this. That's amazing to me, So I will never take that for granted or spit on that or, act like I'm entitled to it. I got to earn it. I got to wake up and earn it every day. It's a pretty good looking bat. Let's see. I agree with AI taking over. It's just too good to not. Yeah, it's really amazing. I was talking to Grok 3 last night for hours, and the stuff it was, citing scientific research and doing Bayesian probability calculations to tell me how probable this thing was that I was asking it about. And showing the math, showing the resources, linking to the scientific studies. It's truly amazing. If you have Grok, push deep search, and you can watch it think out loud while it's looking at your stuff. It'll go deep search for 1 second, 2 seconds, and every second it's saying, I checked the Wikipedia page. There seems to be nothing there. Let me check here. Let me check if the Wikipedia page has the wrong address. Nope, there's not a typo on the address. And I saw one where it's like, oh, there was a typo on the address. Let me do this. Okay, now it's returning blah, blah, blah. And say, that's interesting. I wonder if he's asking me this because of this. And it's like, you've never seen anything like this. It's astounding the way it thinks. And I don't believe it can ever be sentient. I believe that life, consciousness is a thing only God can create. We can create an amazing facsimile of it, but it's like me making a photorealistic sculpture or painting. It looks just like life, but it isn't. So I think AI, we can get there to make it seem like us, sound like us, but it's not alive. Which for the sci-fi enthusiast, that's, sad, but that's just what I believe. I don't think you can actually create life. I think only God can create life. So, okay, guys, it's 11:59. I finished inking this beautiful French woman running from this vampire bat. The Unstoppable Tigress will hit 50 pages completed illustration this week. Empyrean should be done this week or next with colors, and then I'll letter it. And well, I'm thinking mid-March it'll be totally done, and we could start doing some real advertising for it. I put out little art stuff every day, but hopefully we're done with the book and ready to print it. Have it in a form that is ready to print by mid-March. I'm not saying we'll print it mid-March, but hopefully that one's in the can, as they say. All right, guys, hit the like, hit the share, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye-bye. Have a great one. Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, it's Double Impact with my co-host Jericho Green. We're going to be breaking down the first Roger Moore James Bond, which I believe is A View to Kill. I've never seen his movie, so I need to watch that tonight, actually. And we always have a lot of fun. It's an improv comedy show, really. We review awesome guy movies, but we mostly do voices and jokes and stuff like that. All right, talk to you guys later. Go to bigmancomics.com, get Dean Cain All-American Lawman, get an awesome t-shirt. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.